Subscribe to Mantold for more stories. Now, let's begin this one. My two kids sat huddled at the door, soaked in the rain. Noah's arm wrapped tight around his sister, Lily clutching her teddy bear, drenched, dripping, her hair plastered to her small face. In Noah's hand, a crumpled note, ink smeared by rain. "Don't look for me." I froze, my whole body stiff. The gift bag in my hand, Noah's Lego set, Lily's purple dress she always pointed at in the store, slipped to the wet tiles, hit the ground with a hollow thud. And in that moment, the whole city went silent. Only the rain on the roof, and my heart pounding out of control. I rushed forward, pulled them both into my arms. Their bodies shook, cold, like they'd just stepped out of a nightmare. Noah looked up, eyes red, voice breaking. "Dad, Mom's gone." Lily clung to my sleeve, crying without sound. Where did she go? Is she coming back? My throat locked. I wanted to answer, to soothe her, but the words stuck. All I could do was hold her tighter, as if letting go would shatter the world. I pushed the door open. Darkness hit me, heavy. The living room cold, silent. On the table, 2 plates of pasta, gone cold. Lily's bowl still half full. A single sausage stuck to the side. The kitchen looked abandoned mid-meal. Time stopped, missing only one person. I hurried upstairs. The closet gaped wide, half empty. Her blue suitcase, gone. The vanity drawer pulled open, a hollow gap, like a cut straight into my chest. Everything screamed the same truth. Rachel had left. I looked down at the note. Her handwriting, "I need freedom. The kids are yours." Just words. Cold. Final. No explanation. No apology. As if 12 years of marriage. Movie nights on the couch. Nights she fell asleep holding the kids on my shoulder. Had never happened. I stood in the dark room, listening. Rain hammering the windows. The faint smell of cold pasta drifting from the kitchen. The ghost of her perfume still clinging to the empty closet. And behind me, Lily's sobs, tearing the silence apart. In that moment, I knew it was all gone. The woman who once vowed to walk with me to the end of life was gone. And all she left behind was a note without a soul. And 2 children, shaking in the night rain. I never thought a family could fall apart with nothing more than a piece of paper. There was a time I believed my family would never break. Every morning I made pancakes. Rachel sat at the kitchen table, hands wrapped around her coffee, her hair messy, her smile radiant. Noah and Lily chased each other, fighting for the first pancake. The sound of their laughter, the smell of coffee and butter. It all made me believe I was the luckiest man alive. My name is Eric Rivers, 38, a construction engineer, a man who seemed steady, a man who thought he had it all. I believed if I could build strong buildings, I could build a strong home. But life isn't blueprints. It bends, it cracks, and it breaks when you least expect it. My days belonged to job sites, dust, hammers, the smell of fresh concrete. I loved my work. Every building I helped raise became shelter for hundreds of people. I thought that was my purpose. I was disciplined, rigid even. At 6 a.m., already on site. At night, checking drawings for hours. I was proud of that, but I also carried a guilt. I was never the romantic husband. I forgot anniversaries, forgot sweet words. I thought working hard, providing enough, would be all Rachel needed. Rachel, the girl I fell for at a charity gala. She wore a pale blue dress. Her eyes sparkled as she spoke about opening free schools for poor kids. She loved children. Anyone could see it. And that's why I chose her. On our wedding day, I promised to build her a happy home. And in the early years, it seemed real. Rachel was warm, gentle. She baked cookies for neighbors. Our house was full of laughter. But then Rachel changed. She grew colder. Her smile faded. She stopped sharing stories about her students, stopped caring about family dinners. I'll never forget the first time I found her in the car, eyes red, wiping tears. She said, "Just tired." But her eyes were distant, closed. Noah, my oldest, is 10. He's like me, quiet, thoughtful, always sketching. I saw his drawings, a house with a white fence. Inside, only 3 figures, me and the kids. When I asked, he smiled. Just imagination. But it cut deep. Lily, 7, our sunshine, always running around. bare in her arms. Her laughter washed away my stress. I thought, as long as she kept laughing, everything would be fine. But lately, Lily asked me, "Dad, why is Mom always angry?" I only stroked her hair, dodged the question. To the neighbors, we looked perfect. A white fence home, lavender in the yard, weekend barbecues, Rachel chatting with friends, the kids playing in the grass. From the outside, a picture of happiness. But inside, it wasn't real anymore. I was gone too often. Rachel snapped at me. "You care more about your projects than this family." I laughed it off, thought it was temporary. I didn't see that while I built structures out there, my own home was crumbling inside. Rachel started going out more, said it was a book club. Her phone lit up with hurried messages. One day, Noah said quietly, "Dad, I saw Mom crying in the car with some man." I brushed it off, told him, "You must be mistaken." But inside, the unease grew louder. Rachel snapped at the kids more often. Dinner turned suffocating. I suggested counseling. Maybe we try talking to someone. Her answer? No, it's too late. Her words stuck, like a shadow of something coming. I won't deny my part. I drowned in work, forgot anniversaries, forgot compliments, forgot to hold her, just to say, "I love you." I thought she knew, through my actions, but maybe she needed more. I blamed myself. If only I had listened sooner. If only I had cared more. Maybe she wouldn't have changed. But by the time I realized, it was slipping beyond my reach. The night before my business trip, I found Rachel in the living room, eyes fixed on nothing. I stepped closer. She quickly put her phone down. The screen still lit up. A message. "When I get out, I'll be free." I froze. Rachel looked at me, her eyes cold. "You should sleep. You fly tomorrow." I walked upstairs, heart pounding, one question echoing in my head. What did she want to be free from? And why? Was our marriage a cage to her? I didn't know. 2 days later, the answer came, in the cruelest way possible. That trip to Chicago was supposed to be just another job. A couple of days away, check a site, come home to Rachel and the kids, their hugs, their smiles. But this time was different. The first night in the hotel, after a long day of meetings, I sat down, pulled out my phone, and texted Rachel, "I'll be home tomorrow night. Miss you. Miss the kids." The message went through, delivered, but all night, no reply. I stared at the screen lighting up, then fading to black. Every minute felt like an hour, and that strange message I'd once seen, "When I get out, I'll be free," echoed back, heavy, crushing. The next morning, in the taxi to the site, I called. The rings dragged on, then the recording. "The number you dialed is unavailable." I tried again, and again. Same thing. I told myself, maybe she forgot to charge it. Maybe she left it somewhere. But deep down, I knew better. That night, I called Noah on his iPad. His face appeared. He tried to act normal, but his eyes gave him away. "Dad, Mom said she's going out, not home for dinner. Do you know where she went?" I asked. He shook his head, hesitated. I saw her crying in the bathroom. When I knocked, she just told me to go to bed." My chest locked. 10 years old, already old enough to sense the whole world falling apart. I wanted to get on the next plane, but I couldn't. Not yet. I told myself, just one more day. I'd go home. I'd ask Rachel. Face the truth, whatever it was. That night, I lay on the hotel bed, white ceiling above me. I couldn't sleep. All I saw was Rachel crying, that message, and Noah's worried eyes. 2 days later, I changed my flight, came home early. In my hands, Noah's Lego set, Lily's purple dress. I thought I'd walk through that door, see their smiles, hold Rachel, and all my doubts would vanish. But when the car pulled up, my heart sank. The door was ajar, the porch soaked with rain, and there they were. My kids, huddled like lost birds. I ran to them, held them tight. Noah's hand shook as he gave me a note. "I need freedom. The kids are yours." Just a few words, but enough to make my world collapse. I carried Lily inside, took Noah's hand. The living room was cold, dinner half-eaten on the table, noodles stiff, a spoon lying sideways. The chair where Rachel sat, empty. I ran upstairs, the closet wide open, half the clothes gone, empty hangers, mocking me. Her blue suitcase, missing. In the drawer, only scraps left behind. A handkerchief, an almost empty perfume bottle. The scent still hung in the air. Cruel. On the vanity. Lipstick marks smeared on the mirror. Her coffee cup still there. Cold. Thick. Every detail screamed. She had been here, and now she was gone. I held the note, my hand trembling, my eyes burning. I dropped to the floor, back against the hollow closet. I wanted to scream, to break the silence. But outside, my kids were waiting. I couldn't let them see me fall. Noah stepped in, eyes wide. "Dad, is Mom coming back?" My throat closed. I couldn't answer. So I pulled him close, whispered, "I'm here. I'm not going anywhere." Lily clung to me, her tears wetting my shirt. "Dad, did Mom leave us?" I bowed my head, my heart tearing open. That night, I laid blankets on the living room floor, both kids beside me. Lily clutched her bear, eyes swollen. "Dad, when is Mom coming home?" She asked it again, and again. I stroked her hair, but I had no answer. Noah stayed silent, eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling, trying to be strong for his sister. But his small hand gripped mine, as if letting go would make me disappear too. I stayed awake all night, listening to the rain. And inside this house, Rachel's absence screamed louder than any storm. The next morning, I started searching. I called her friends, family, co-workers. No one knew. I drove to her favorite cafe, the bookstore she loved, the school where she once taught. Everywhere, silence. Finally, at the bank, the clerk told me, 3 days ago, Rachel withdrew almost all our savings. I froze, fingers gripping the counter white. She had been planning this all along. That night, I sat in the living room, family album open in front of me, old photos. At the beach, Rachel laughing, holding Lily, Noah riding on my shoulders. I turned each page, but it felt like staring at strangers. The woman in those pictures, the one who vowed forever, was gone. I thought of her book club nights, the missing money, her distant eyes, that message. All of it fit. There was another man, and she chose him, not me. The thought boiled my blood. But then came the exhaustion. I could be angry, but my kids needed more than anger. They needed me steady. 3 days later, an email arrived. No greeting, no explanation. Just one line. "I'm sorry. Don't look for me. I need to live for myself." I read it again and again, searching for a trace of the woman I loved. But the words were stone, cold. I printed it, slid it into the family album, to remind myself this wasn't a nightmare. It was real. That night, I sat on the porch, yellow light casting shadows across my face. On the table, her note, still blurred by rain. Inside, my kids slept. But I heard Noah whisper in his dream, "Mom, please don't go." I couldn't step inside. I just sat there, tears sliding silently. When I opened the drawer, I realized something else. The house keys were gone. She hadn't just left. She had taken the right to return. And in that moment, I knew the line was drawn. The door closed forever. From now on, I was a man raising 2 children alone, and the woman I trusted more than myself had chosen to disappear. The first morning Rachel was gone. I woke to her alarm ringing on the nightstand. That familiar tune once made me smile. But that day, it mocked me. I reached for her side of the bed. Cold. Empty. I stumbled into the kitchen. Dishes piled in the sink. Her coffee mug still stained. Lily's half-finished bottle tipped on the counter. What used to be a home was now a battlefield. I tried making breakfast. Eggs stuck to the pan. Toast burned black. Noah ate in silence. Eyes down. Lily pushed her plate away. Her voice broke. "I won't eat until Mom comes back." I forced a smile. "Eat, honey. So when Mom sees you strong, she'll be happy." But even I didn't believe my own lie. The tension seeped into everything. Lily clung to me, even followed me to the bathroom door. Each night, she cried herself to sleep, her eyes swollen red. Noah withdrew. He didn't cry, but I caught him by the window, staring at the empty yard. One day, I found him writing, over and over, "Mom will come back. Mom will come back." The words blurred with tears. I pulled him into my arms. He shoved me away, snapped, "What did you do to make Mom leave?" That question cut deeper than any blade. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. I only held his trembling hand. At work, I became a shadow. Late. Forgetting meetings. Leaving blueprints at home. Once in front of clients, I froze mid-presentation. Mind blank. My boss pulled me aside. "Eric, I know you're struggling, but the company can't wait forever." I nodded. Silent. Colleagues avoided my eyes. Maybe pity. Maybe gossip. At night, I sat before my laptop. Blueprints open. But all I saw were Lily's swollen eyes and Noah's shaking hand. Writing those hopeless lines. Money tightened. Rachel had drained our savings. Rent, tuition, medicine. All on me now. One evening, in the supermarket, Lily in one arm, groceries in the other. At the register, my card declined. People sighed behind me. I forced a smile. Pulled out what little cash I had. Only enough for half. I left behind Noah's favorite snacks. He said nothing, but his eyes fell. Shame burned deeper than anything I'd known. At home, Noah asked, "Dad, are we going to lose the house?" I ruffled his hair, forced a laugh. "Not yet. Dad's got this." But inside, my heart raced, because I wasn't sure. The neighbors whispered, when I walked the kids to school, his wife really left. Maybe she found someone else. I bowed my head, gripped Lily's hand tight. At the parent-teacher meeting, the teacher said, "Mr. Rivers, your kids need counseling. They're under more pressure than you realize." I nodded, but shame burned. Like I had failed at being a father. By day, I forced a smile. Cooked, cleaned, worked, played the role of a strong dad. But at night, when the house went silent, I collapsed in the chair, stared at our wedding photo on the wall, glass of whiskey shaking in my hand, tears welling. But I held them back, afraid the kids would hear. One night, I couldn't. I slammed my fist into the wall. Blood dripped from my knuckles. And there was Noah, awake, staring at me. I hid my hand behind my back, forced a crooked smile. "Just tripped, buddy." His eyes haunted me the whole night. Sometimes I wanted to scream. "Why did you leave? Why abandon your kids?" But every time Lily called, "Daddy," I swallowed it down. One night, Noah asked softly, "Dad, do you hate Mom?" I stayed quiet a long time, then shook my head. "No, I don't hate her. I just hurt." He nodded, silent, but his shoulders curled, like he understood more than I wanted. Then came the call. A strange number. "Are you Eric Rivers?" "Yes." "Who is this?" A man's voice. "You should know. Rachel's with me. She's happy." "Stop looking." I froze, ears ringing. The phone slipped from my hand, and just like that, every suspicion turned into truth. Rachel had left us for another man. That night, I lay between my kids, held them tight. Tears fell into their hair, silent, afraid to wake them. The next day, I walked through life like a shell. By day, forcing a smile, cooking, school runs. By night, empty, drained. My bandaged hand reminded me of the anger I couldn't control, of how close I was to breaking. But then, I heard Noah laugh, weak, playing with Lily in their room. That fragile laughter was like a thin thread, and I knew if I fell, it would snap and vanish forever. That night, while picking up toys in the living room, I saw Noah's iPad glowing. He was asleep, breathing steady, Lily curled up beside him. I reached to turn it off, and froze. A message on the screen. "Mom, my brave boy, remember? Don't tell Dad." My heart stopped. Rachel, still speaking to Noah. My hands shook as I opened it. Line after line filled the screen. "Noah, I miss you every day, but your dad doesn't want me back. Don't believe him. I'll come for you and Lily. We'll live somewhere better. Keep this secret, my brave boy." Each word, a knife. She hadn't just left us. She was poisoning my son against me, stealing the last trust he had in his father. I looked at Noah. He clutched the iPad like treasure, whispering in his sleep, "Mom." I turned away, bit my lip until it bled. Next morning, at breakfast, I sat beside him. "Noah," I said softly, "I know you're talking to Mom." His chopsticks fell. You're spying on me." "No. But son, we have to face this. Mom, she isn't here anymore." "No," he screamed. Tears streamed. "Mom said she's coming back. You're the one stopping her, aren't you? You were always busy. You ignored her. It's your fault she left." The words drove straight through me. I reached for him. He pulled away, slammed his bedroom door. Inside, I heard him sob. I pressed my head against the cold wood, whispered, "Son, I never wanted this." Days later, the mailman brought a thick envelope. No return address. Inside, a petition for custody, filed by Rachel Rivers. The words blurred as I read, "Eric cannot provide care. I can offer stability. I demand full custody of Noah and Lily." My hands shook. The paper crumpled, then smoothed, as if I could make the words disappear. But they didn't. This was real. I sank to the floor. A Christmas photo slipped from the drawer. We were all smiling under the tree. Now, half of that family had turned away, and the other half was being taken from me. That night, I sat in darkness. The petition on the table, the clock ticked, counting down the seconds to when I'd lose everything. I wanted to scream, to smash, to ask, why Rachel? Why abandon us all? But then, Lily's cough echoed down the hall. I rushed to her room. She was crying into her pillow, tears still wet. I held her, stroked her hair. My heart cracked open, and I knew I didn't have the right to fall apart. A week later, Rachel stood at my door. I opened it, and the sight struck like lightning. She wasn't the woman I knew. Hair bleached, heavy makeup, and beside her, a tall stranger, his hand wrapped tightly around hers. Rachel's voice was cold, steady. "Eric, I'm here to take Noah and Lily. The papers are filed. Let's not make this harder. Just let go." My throat burned. "Let go. After everything you've done," the man smirked. "They need a real family. You can't handle it." My fists clenched white. I wanted to break him. But behind me, Noah stood in the hallway, eyes wide. Rachel stared at me. "Can't you see? You're exhausted. Don't be selfish, Eric." I drew a long breath, swallowed the rage. "If that's what you want, we'll settle it in court. But you won't steal my children." "Noah," she called. He flinched, stopped, then saw her fingers laced with the stranger's hand. His eyes filled, confused. The sight carved me in two. But in that moment, I knew this was a battle I could not afford to lose. That night, Noah turned his back to me, clutching the iPad. Its glow lit his young face. On the screen, "Mom, I'll come for you soon." I reached to switch it off, but stopped. Instead, I sat there in the dark and let the tears fall, one heavy drop at a time. After that night, Rachel stood at my door, hand in hand with another man. Our home was never the same. The air grew heavy, like a fog pressing down, every breath harder to take. I came back from work, shoes soaked with rain, forced to smile as I stepped inside. But all I met were Noah's distant eyes and Lily's trembling arms clinging to me. At dinner, Lily pressed close, clutching her worn bear. She looked up, wide-eyed. "Daddy, if Mommy really comes back, will she take you away too?" The question cut deep. I wanted to say no, "I'll never leave you," but my throat locked. All I managed was a whisper, "I'll never leave you." Noah was different. He poked at his food, then slammed his spoon, stood up, and shut himself away upstairs. The table went silent, cold. One night, I heard the clatter of keys from his room. "Noah," I called softly, "what are you doing?" His voice snapped. "I need privacy. Leave me alone." I cracked the door. On the screen, a chat window glowing. Rachel's name. Noah spun his chair, hiding it. His face red, hands shaking. "You're invading my life," he shouted. I froze. In his eyes, suspicion, distance, as if I was the intruder. The boy who once crawled into my arms during storms, now building walls I couldn't climb. Next day, when I tried to talk, he muttered, sharp as a blade, "Mom says you're selfish, that you only think of yourself." I lost control. My fist slammed the table. Glass shattered. Water splashed across Lily's cheek. She burst into tears. And Noah screamed, "See, Mom was right. You're just an angry man, a violent man." I stood frozen. Blood drained from my face. I had never struck my children, never wanted them afraid of me. But one slip, one crack in my control, and in Noah's eyes, I became the monster she painted me to be. That evening, my lawyer called. "Eric, the hearing's in weeks. Rachel has the advantage. She's with a man who can provide. Prepare yourself." I sat in silence, staring at my calloused hands. Grease still stained my nails, and in my mind, I saw the other man's hands, soft, unmarked, powerful enough to take my children away. That night, I spread papers across the table. Utility bills, medical records, family photos. I tried to write my statement, but my pen trembled. Tears fell onto the page, ink bleeding, like my life unraveling. I wiped it fast, but the stain remained. I thought, if even this report is messy, will the court ever believe I'm fit to be a father? A week later, Rachel returned. This time alone. No makeup, no man beside her, but her eyes were still cold. "Eric," she said flatly, "you can't keep the kids out of pride. They need a better life. Sign the papers. Don't make the court decide." I clenched my jaw. "A better life? You left them in the rain? You whispered poison into Noah's head. Is that what you call better?" Her eyes flickered. For a second, something broke. Then she turned away. "You don't understand. With you, I was suffocating. I wasn't myself anymore." I stared at her, voice shaking but firm. "Maybe you don't want to be my wife, but you will always be their mother. Don't tear away the last unbroken piece of their hearts." She bit her lip and left. The next day, Noah vanished after school. Panic gripped me. I searched everywhere. Finally, a teacher said his mother picked him up. I bolted to the gate. There she was, her hand resting on his shoulder. And behind, the man, arms crossed, eyes cold. "Noah, let's go," Rachel whispered. "Noah," I shouted. "Come to me." He froze, confused. Rachel bent low, whispering something I couldn't hear. His small hand trembled in hers. Then, his eyes darted to the man. Fear. Then to me, pleading. And suddenly, he tore free. Ran, slow at first. Then faster, until he crashed into me, sobbing. I don't want to go anywhere." Rachel stood frozen. Her face twisted, anger, pain. The man shrugged, turned away. I held my son, heartbreaking. I knew this was just one small victory, a battle in a long war. But in that moment, I had my son's heart back. That night, Noah refused his own bed. He climbed into mine, clinging to my arm. Lily followed, curling against my chest. In the dark, Noah whispered, "Dad, I don't know who to believe anymore. But when I'm with you, I feel safe." I held them both. Tears streamed as I stared at the ceiling. Outside, the streetlight cast a dim glow, and in it, our shadows. 3 figures clinging to each other. Through tears, I smiled, because in that moment, I knew, no matter what the court decides, no matter if the world turns against me, I still have the most important thing, the hearts of my children. Some nights, I sit awake on the porch, staring at Lily's tiny shoes, neatly placed beside my own, boots stained with grease and dust. 2 sizes, 2 worlds, yet standing side by side, as if to remind me, no matter the storms that tear through our lives, my children and I still belong under the same roof. Noah speaks less now, but sometimes, when he thinks I'm not watching, I catch him looking at me. That look is no longer pure distance. There's a faint flicker of trust, fragile, but there. And Lily, she's still the same, pure, naive, believing in her father with all her heart. I once thought losing Rachel meant losing my family. But now I know family isn't defined by a marriage certificate or by 2 adults sitting at the dinner table. Family is in the rushed mornings, packing lunches before the bus arrives. It's in the little socks tangled in the laundry. It's in the tears wiped away when a child runs a fever. And in the innocent joy of hearing, "Daddy," echoing down the hall. Rachel can file papers. That man can dress finer, speak smoother, and earn more in a month than I might in a year. But what they'll never have are the evenings I drive the kids in my old pickup. Noah in the front seat, silent but present. Lily in the back, singing nonsense songs to the wind. They'll never have those quick hugs at the school gate, or the silent glances my son gives me at the end of a long day. I no longer cling to the illusion of saving my marriage. If someone wants to leave, no chain can hold them. But I no longer fear what's ahead, because one truth stands, a truth no court can ever erase. I am still Noah and Lily's father, and that title is sacred. It's mine to protect, at any cost. Last night, Noah dozed off on the couch. His iPad slipped to the floor. On the screen, an unread message. "Mom will come for you." I stared at those words a long while. I reached to turn it off, but stopped. Instead, I let his head rest on my shoulder. His small hand tightened around my wrist. Unconscious, instinctive. And in that grip, I understood, between his mother's promises and the reality before him, my son still needed an anchor, and that anchor is me. Tears welled, but I smiled. I whispered, softly, knowing he couldn't hear, I may no longer be your mother's husband, but I will always be your father. And as long as you call me Dad, I will never fall.